Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Board of Education. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Lisa, would you please take roll call?
Mrs. Cantwell? Here. Mrs. Cloutier?
She'll be coming late.
Mrs. Waduti?
Here.
Mr. Heisman?
Here.
Mrs. Kelleher?
Here.
Mrs. Russ?
Here.
Mr. Schuman?
Here.
And Mr. Zabrowski?
He'll be coming late as well.
Dr. Macri?
Here.
Mrs. Ernesta? Here. Ms. Berry? Mr. Pisano? Mrs. Bennington? Mr. Butlow?
Here.
Ms. Porciola? Here. Mrs. Damaro? Here. Mrs. DeTuno? Mr. Cuckold? Mr. LeMay? Oh, Mr. Mr. LeMay? Dr. McLean? Here. Mrs. Maher Prestash? Mrs. Middlebrooks? Mrs. O'Leary? Ms. Shepherd? Ms. Talma? Here. Mrs. Weisbull? Here. Mayor Dimitriadis?
Okay, thank you. All right, our first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda and any additions, deletions, and a review. And first of all, we do have two items that we're on for executive session, and I'd like to ask that we table the agenda item regarding the superintendent's contract, and we can have that item on at another meeting. So is there a motion to do that?
Motion to approve your recommended changes.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. And I do also want to ask that we move the second item. I'd like to exercise my prerogative as the chair to move the following agenda items to the start of the meeting in recognition of the public interest in the pending OCR matter. Those items are 1, discussion concerning an attorney-client privileged communication related to the board's role in the OCR matters, Article 15 on the agenda, and 2, the repealing of the policy on transgender and gender nonconforming youth, Section 14E in the agenda. So with those two changes, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and so after that, we will just move all the items to the regular business meeting following our executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for these purposes?
Motion.
Catherine, is there a second? Lori, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we are now in executive session. The board will, though, instead of asking you all to leave, we would like to invite you to stay, and we will conduct our meeting in a separate room, and then we'll return when we are through. So please feel free to stay, and we'll be back shortly. All so much for your patience in waiting while we had our executive session, and I'll declare this meeting back in regular session at 8:05 p.m. From here, I'd like to add a new agenda item to our agenda. I'd like to add a motion, if anyone would like to motion, to add an action item to authorize the board to make the following statement, which I have before me, regarding the pending OCR matter.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and this will also be communicated out to families. And here's our statement. On May 2nd, 2025, the United States Office for Civil Rights notified Dr. Macri that it was initiating a directed investigation into whether Cromwell was in violation of the Title IX and its implementing regulation, which prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex in any education program or activity operated by a recipient of federal financial assistance. Specifically, OCR was investigating whether Cromwell Public Schools denies equal athletic benefits and opportunities to female student athletes through general or athletic-specific participation policies that permit, direct, instruct, or require its schools to allow males to participate in girls' interscholastic athletics, thereby depriving girls and young women of equal athletic opportunities. This correspondence also states that as a corollary to this alleged conduct, a potential Title IX violation occurs when a covered entity denies female students female-only intimate facilities, such as sex-segregated locker rooms and bathrooms. Cromwell responded that it would be represented in this investigation by its legal counsel. Cromwell heard nothing further from OCR until May 29, 2025, when OCR sent correspondence stating that although OCR has not yet made final compliance findings, OCR has identified compliance concerns during this investigation and has determined it would be appropriate to attempt to resolve these concerns through a resolution agreement. OCR issued a 5-page resolution agreement with a response deadline of June 5, 2025. The agreement provides that it will become effective immediately upon signing. OCR further stated in its correspondence that if the agreement is not signed, OCR will conclude we are at an impasse in negotiations, and OCR will finalize the findings and proceed to enforcement. Enforcement may include referral to the U.S. Department of Justice or other means authorized by law. On Friday, May 30th, 2025, Cromwell reached out to OCR through its legal counsel explaining that the decision to enter into any agreement changing its policies and practices needed to be made by the board and requesting an extension of the time deadline to understand fully the terms of the proposed agreement and determine whether OCR and Cromwell could reach an agreement. To date, OCR has not granted an extension. As an initial matter, we want to make clear that the proposed resolution agreement, which mirrors proposed resolution agreements recently sent to other states, implicates issues far broader than the participation of transgender female athletes in athletic programs. As proposed, many of the terms are in direct conflict with state law, specifically Connecticut General Statute 10-153, which prohibits discrimination based on gender identity and expression. Some terms of the agreement also conflict with interpretations of the rights of transgender individuals as recognized by the United States Supreme Court and pending litigation in Connecticut District Court. Further, the proposed agreement requires Cromwell to withdraw all of its student athletes immediately from all CIAC-sponsored athletic events, such as the state and New England regional competitions occurring over the next few weeks. We do not see any justification for an agreement that would prevent our student athletes from competing in year-end interscholastic events for which they've worked so hard and earned the right to participate in. We also have no guarantee that such withdrawal would be limited to this spring season and not extend into the 2025-2026 sports seasons. The Cromwell Board of Education fulfills an important role with respect to the protection of our students and has consistently adopted policies to ensure the well-being of all our children. Before adopting new policies, we conduct a comprehensive review of the effect of any proposed policy change. We obtain and consider comments from our school community and relevant state and federal agencies, such as the State Department of Education. We review legal issues with counsel and take into effect changes in the law through legislative action, regulatory changes, and judicial decisions. As our superintendent clarified recently, as a public school, we make it a priority to create a welcoming and nurturing environment where all students can participate in our educational programs. At the same time, we are fully committed to following federal and state laws prohibiting discrimination in educational programs. We are keeping both of these priorities at the forefront as we review our policies with the Office for Civil Rights as well as relevant state agencies. The matter extends well beyond the scope of the Cromwell School District and presents significant statewide implications. Over the past months, our legal counsel and school representatives have reached out to multiple stakeholders that include the State Department of Education, the Connecticut Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities, the CIAC, the Connecticut Attorney General's Office, and the Governor's Office to engage in discussions about how recent executive orders and administrative actions from the Trump administration revoking past guidance and issuing new interpretations of the law affect our policies so that we can adjust our procedures prospectively as needed in a thoughtful way. The one-week deadline proposed by OCR does not provide us sufficient time to conduct the needed review of the proposal. We have informed OCR that a decision not to sign the agreement as written should not be interpreted as unwillingness to engage in a respectful discussion and have requested an extension of time to do so. However, we will be informing OCR that for the reasons highlighted herein, we cannot sign the agreement as written at this time. We believe it is essential that the state of Connecticut assume a leadership role in addressing this issue in a comprehensive and coordinated manner and spare Cromwell from having to spend an inordinate amount of money and public resources to navigate this alone. Continued efforts must be made to elevate this conversation to the state level, where consistent policy guidance and support can be developed for all districts. In closing, we remain steadfast in supporting all of our students and are committed to upholding policies that prohibit discrimination or harassment on the basis of one's actual or perceived membership in a protected class. We will continue to engage in collaborative and respectful discussions with the federal and state agencies, our school districts, the agencies we work with, such as the CIC, and the members of our school community as we seek a resolution. So this will also be, as I mentioned, sent out to families. In addition to that, we would like to move to defer any further action on the board policy regarding transgender and gender nonconforming youths. That's policy 5145.53, and that's 14E on our agenda. Is there a motion to defer that? Matt, is there a second?
Second.
Alicia, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. And we will defer any action on that at this time. Okay, and I know many of you are here tonight and probably have some public comments. There was a sign-in sheet. I'm not sure if, Lisa, do we have members that have signed in? Just one? Okay. Before I invite you up to the podium, I would like to just read our...
I didn't know there was a sign-up sheet.
That's okay. You can just add your name to the list and we'll call you up in that order. And I'll just read the rules for public comment. Individuals are welcome to address the Board of Education for up to 3 minutes each during the public comments portion of the meeting, but board members will not generally engage in dialogue. The Board of Education chair may, at his or her discretion, extend the time for public comments. Speakers must come to the podium and share your name and address. To facilitate efficient sharing of your comments, we encourage you to share any comments you may have about instruction, discipline, or learning materials, first with your student's teacher, then principal, and followed by the superintendent before bringing the comments to the Board of Education. However, if you do not believe your comments have been addressed appropriately, or if you believe they should be shared with the Board of Education for any other reason, please feel free to do so. Any comments or concerns about individual Cromwell Board of Education employees should be directed to the superintendent and the Board of Ed in writing, rather than in public comments at Board of Education meetings. All comments must not include personal attacks, and comments cannot be discourteous, threatening, vulgar, or otherwise inappropriate. The board chairperson may at his or her discretion curtail any public comments or terminate any such individual's privilege of address at any time if they violate any of these rules, violate reasonable standards of decorum, are boisterous, or are repetitious. The Board of Education reserves the right to limit public comments to particular topics. The Cromwell Board of Education values the well-being of our students and families. Those electing to make public comments at a meeting are strongly discouraged from sharing identifiable information of their children in such comments, including but not limited to name, age, and learning ability, and are reminded that any comments made during a Cromwell Board of Education meeting may become a matter of permanent record that may be accessible by individuals in the future. As such, any person making public comments during a Board of Education meeting is solely responsible for the information they choose to share. We kindly ask that you consider the privacy of your family and your children while making comments. And with that, if we can have the first person on the list come on up and please state your name and address. Is there a light? Is there a light?
It says push. We
That's
got
better.
it. Hi, Kristen Basega, 19 Bel Air Manor. So I understand that you have considered tabling the discussion on this policy, but I wanted to give my comments about it. The policy you're considering appealing is not just about sports. It's a broad, overarching policy about the rights of transgender students. This policy includes the dress code and the right to have your clothing match that of your true gender, the right to use your bathroom of choice, and yes, the right to play sports, which are so critical in the way that many students experience school. It includes the right to privacy, to have teachers use your correct name, your preferred pronouns, to have your correct gender listed on your school information. It included professional development and training for educators to make sure that they are also aware of transgender rights and how best to address very sensitive issues at critical times in students' lives. As you consider this, consider that for the next several years, you'll be going to graduations and concerts and family fun night. And can you really look at your students, and they are your students as they are your responsibility, and say that they don't deserve those considerations for privacy, participation in sports, being called their true name, or being addressed by their correct pronouns? This administration, federally, is using Cromwell as a test case. And I had this good discussion with a friend of mine who lives overseas, and he said, well, if people would just give up trans kids in sports, then everything would be fine. But it won't, because this lawsuit is not just about sports. The goalposts could move, and the next thing it would be inclusive books. And if it's not the books, the goalposts move. And if you don't give up the rights of some students, then you risk funding for other ones. And there will always be that threat to withhold federal funding. But you as the Board of Ed can uphold the values that protect all of our students and all of your students. Shouldn't we have learned these lessons before? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there someone else that would like to come up for public comment? Please state your name and address.
Good evening. Shannon Hughes Brown, 7 Court Place. Dear members of the Cromwell Board of Education, I'm speaking today as an engaged community member who deeply values the role public education plays in shaping our children's futures. In light of the current investigation by the federal government, I urge the board to approach this moment not with defensiveness or division, but with courage, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to the well-being of all of our students, and especially those who are most vulnerable, including our LGBTQ+ youth. This is a critical time for reflection, learning, and leadership. I encourage you to ask difficult questions, to listen deeply to students' experiences, and to grow as a community. True leadership lies not in having all the answers, but seeking them with humility and an open heart. Our LGBTQ+ students, like all students, deserve to feel safe, respected, and seen for who they are. They deserve schools that affirm their identities and support their growth academically, emotionally, and socially. By centering student voices, especially those who have been historically marginalized, you will be honoring the fundamental mission of public education, to provide every child with the opportunity to learn, thrive, and become their fullest self. I hope the board will prioritize transparency, inclusive dialogue, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths with integrity. I encourage you to have the courage to not immediately comply with demands and threats, but to understand the true process of litigation and due process. I also implore you to seek guidance, especially legal guidance, beyond the normal course of operation. These are unprecedented times. Thank you for your service and your dedication to our schools. I stand ready to support any effort that moves us towards greater inclusion, understanding, and excellence.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Jessica Lamb, 12 High Ridge Road. I identify as a straight cisgender female, and I use she, her pronouns. I want to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation for the leadership this board has shown in developing policies that support all students. Cromwell has leaned in, proactively creating a school environment that strives to be safe, inclusive, and respectful of every student's identity and experience. This kind of commitment takes courage, vision, and compassion, and I want to acknowledge the good work that you've done. And This is why I'm going to change this middle section now based on the results we just heard. But I'm appreciating that you're not unwinding all of that good work until we have more information, and hopefully not at all, for all the reasons that I just described, and that the fellow speakers here have brought up. This investigation doesn't change what's right. And we have followed state law and federal guidance and CIAC regulations all along. So please stand firm in your commitments to our students and inclusion. And as you've mentioned, you are leaning on our state leaders, but also don't be afraid to lean on your community. You can see from today, we've all showed up, and you can lean on us as well for support. You're not alone. I'm going to continue to write our elected officials here in this state, as I have in other states as well, speaking for our community here. So thank you again for your efforts. Please stay the course and continue to be a district that chooses inclusion over division and values over fear. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to make a public comment? No? Okay. We'll see. Maybe? Okay.
I'm a student here at Cromwell High.
I'm sorry, could you just state your name and address for the record?
I'm not comfortable sharing my full name and address. Can I still speak?
What? Oh, you're a student. Oh, I understand now. Okay, continue.
I'm going to begin with a trigger warning, as I will be discussing sensitive topics, including the suicide rate of transgender youth. My name is Simon. I am a student at Cromwell High School, and I am gender fluid. I come to school knowing that I can go by the name I feel comfortable with. I cannot do this at home. School is one of the only safe spaces where I can be myself and present myself as I am. The targeting of Cromwell Public Schools due to the violation of Title IX is ridiculous, considering it covers the prohibition of sex-based discrimination. What about the discrimination against the trans youth that this is affecting? According to a study by the Trevor Project, survey participants whose home state had enacted at least one transgender law had a significant increase in suicide attempts. In the full sample of trans and non-binary young people in this study, those rates increased by 38 to 44%. As someone who had struggled to find my gender identity for over 5 years, I can tell you firsthand that preventing transgender students from participating in their preferred sports teams or using their correctly gendered bathrooms will affect so many students' mental health. As for the situation regarding sports, to assume there is an advantage for transgender women because they are biologically male is rooted in deep misogyny. It's rooted in the belief that biological females are weaker and lesser than biological males. When you bring down trans women, it hurts all women. Excluding trans people was, is, and never will be about protecting anyone. There will be children whose lives will be lost. Including everyone harms no one.
Thank you so much for your comments and your bravery. Are there other public comments this evening? I know this is a very emotionally charged topic, so I thank you all for your support and for coming out to demonstrate your beliefs. So thank you all for your public comments. I did also receive one from our Education Association of Cromwell President Lee Newman, which I've shared with the board. It'll be included with the minutes. And it was also, it was to myself and Dr. Macri expressing concern over the potential repealing of the CAPE policy in question. Other than that, I have no other public comments. Anything that you received you want to share, Dr. Macri?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So from here, we will move on to celebrating our faculty and staff, and we'll be celebrating Cromwell High School this evening. So Mr. Kuckle, if you can come on up to the podium.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So for our faculty and staff, unfortunately, they are performing. Right next door, they're doing a bang-up job. But we wanted to recognize a few folks. One, our student, Sean Stackpole. You see it in your Board of Ed packet. He was picked, he's a saxophone player, and he was named Maestro Soloist Recognition Award recipient at the Anaheim World Competition Music Festival. Sean is a fantastic musician, does things the right way, dedicated saxophone player, and to get this type of recognition is unique. It is a rare award. They don't go to these competitions and give many of these out. They give one out. And he is the one that did earn that for Cromwell High School on their most recent California trip. So we're very proud of Sean. So he was the first person we wanted to recognize. And then the other two were our staff members, Carly Nelson and Mike Schmidt. So these two, they're phenomenal at what they do. They're dedicated. They practically live here. They do so much for our students and our student body. And we really want to take a few minutes to recognize them and all the hard work that they have done. They're ones, too, they never rest on their laurels. They're always looking for new ways, new competitions, new events, new ways to get our kids out there and in front of other groups. And many times I have to kind of sit them down and say, it's okay to skip this one. That's how dedicated they are. Just in the last month, they have their Prisms concert tonight. They had the Memorial Day parade before that. They had another competition before that where they received excellent recognition at that as well. So they're constantly pushing their students to be their best, and we are very fortunate to have both Michael Schmidt and Carly Nelson here as educators at Cromwell High School. So that's who we celebrated.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause, and then we'll take some questions. Catherine, you had a question?
I just have a quick question. That student, Sean Stackpole, what year is
Senior.
Sean? He's a senior? Okay.
He's a senior, yeah.
Thank you.
So we're very proud of all of our musicians, and we hope their families are enjoying the concert next door. And also, thank you to our band and music teachers for their hard work this year and for growing the program. All right, from here, we will move on to reports of liaisons from the Town Council, Board of Finance, Cromwell Middle School Building Committee, which is reference A in your packet. And this evening, we do have our mayor with us, Mayor Dimitriadis. If you'd like to come on up, and if you have a report you'd like to share with us, feel free.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank the Board of Education for their careful consideration of the issues that were before you earlier this evening. As you know, I released a statement on it yesterday, and I stand in solidarity with you as a board in making the best informed decisions that you can to protect the children of the town of Cromwell. Your steadfast dedication is appreciated. And I think, you know, the overarching theme is how we are united as a community and how we will not let division guide us or fear guide us. And I think one of the things I have always valued about this town is that we are all, at the end of the day, community members that care for this community and volunteer our time for this community. And we may disagree on specific issues, but at the end of the day, we all come together for the town and for its children and for its people. So I want to start by thanking you guys, because I know you are in a very difficult position. I echo and share the sentiment that anything I can do to be of assistance, anything I can do to lobby or help, I'm at your disposal. With that said, I wanted to start by thanking the middle school for inviting me today and last week to two fabulous events. Last week, they invited me to the closing, the PTO invited me to the closing of the old middle school, where I gave a little spiel about how middle school is very much like Middle Earth, and how you'll learn how you will learn to be courageous and brave and true to yourself through a journey, and that's what middle school is all about. And then I also want to thank the middle school today for inviting me back for the 7th grade United Nations persuasive writing speeches. I mean, I think that they were so outstanding. I mean, they made me tear up to be in 7th grade and being so able to articulate so passionately some of the greatest issues facing our country is really outstanding. And I think, you know, if they want to teach people on Facebook a lesson about debating, I think they do a very, very good job. I was immensely proud of them. Other highlights, as you know, we are still waiting on the state to see if they will approve our bond request for the track and field improvements. We have not gotten a final number on that. The last budget proposal that I saw from earlier today did not have it included. That does not mean it won't be in the final bond package. It's just not there yet. There's still 24 more hours. And then they still will have their independent bond meeting later this month. So we're monitoring it and hoping that the money's not there or is there. But if it's not there, then we will retool and look to explore doing a mid-year appropriation because we think we need to get that track done. I want to thank Dr. Macri and Claudio for all of the work that they did with us on the building and facilities improvement projects. I want to let you know that this year I'm really proud of all of the capital improvements that we did pass. We passed almost $1 million of capital improvements for the school district as a whole. So we are making progress in that Gordian reports $50 million list. Claudio, through his expertise, has whittled that down to $30 million, but we will keep working through it. In the coming weeks, once school is over for the semester, I'm going to call back that working group to keep working through it. We need to continue to invest in long-range capital planning, and I'm committed to working with you as a Board of Ed to work together to try to figure out how we tackle those really big issues of the outstanding infrastructure issues that we have across all three of the schools. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the new school. I think the new school's great. Shannon was right there, so I turned and looked to Shannon. But the two other things I just wanted to raise. Number one, I know there has been some discussion and debate about the electronic billboard at the middle school. The town council decided not to move forward with that project. The building committee has asked for reconsideration at our next town council meeting. I welcome opinions from board members. If you want to reach out to me, I'm not trying to put anyone on the spot. If you want to reach out to me privately about how you all feel about that, I want to take everyone's input and consideration into account when it comes to making decisions like that. I know the building committee is very passionate about that project moving forward. And so if folks want to reach out to me privately to discuss that, we are being asked to reconsider it, and I'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting. I'm going to ask to move the next meeting. I realize it's on high school graduation, and that's not necessarily fair to people who may want to go to both. So I'm going to try to move the town council meeting from next Wednesday to the Wednesday after. And I believe those are all of my substantive updates. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything?
Anyone? I think you've covered it, but thank you so much for everything you've done and for keeping us updated, and appreciate you moving your meeting so that we can come out, and if anyone's available to attend that meeting, either just to show support or like Mayor Demetria said, send him a letter, personal
Please do.
letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have no student representatives this evening. I think we've kind of covered town collaboration updates, unless you have anything else to share, Dr. Macri. Okay, and we'll move on to superintendent updates and responses. Have anything you'd like to share with us?
So quickly, I will be attending the meeting on June 18th on our behalf. Mr. Bazzano and I understand to some people a sign may just be a sign and you're driving by and it's a static sign. My intention is to try to help people understand two things. One, we're building a STEAM school, which involves technology, and that speaks to everyone. And secondly, I know it's expensive. However, a lot of conversation about the sign doesn't necessarily mean anything to the people driving by. And I want everyone to remember that that sign, if it is static, you're constantly changing it by hand. But if we could digitally change it, that gives us the opportunity to acknowledge staff and students for everything that they do so wonderfully. So as many people may feel it's just a sign, it's more to the sign than just a sign to the people who are in the building, the students whose birthdays it may be, who won student of the month, the staff member who may be teacher of the year. You can recognize so many more people. And to me, the culture and climate in a building is so important. So when you're driving into school, and I'll say as an aunt because I'm not a parent, but I have dropped off my nieces and nephews plenty of times. And let me tell you, if their names were flashing out there, I would be so proud. And so I feel that it's bigger than just a sign. It builds community and it builds appreciation for the people that are in that building, including our students and our staff. And that is what I will be communicating on June 18th in my personal opinion.
Sure, Catherine.
If they do not approve an electronic sign, the current sign will remain where it is. Is that correct?
The current sign is
Isn't it the old
completely-
high school sign?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's missing letters. It's falling apart. It
Yes.
would be shameful, to have that in front. And I don't even know if they could actually move. Like, I'm not even sure if they can actually move it. So I don't know what will happen
If it's not
if
approved.
it's not approved. Yeah.
I didn't know if it falls under to get just a regular generic sign.
They have had that they have definitely had that discussion. And we'll find out on, yeah.
I think there were, maybe some misunderstandings, and more information will be provided at the meeting to share the options of where we go from here. No, I meant at the town council meeting. Unless I'm misspeaking. Okay. That's the purpose of the meeting, is to provide more information, what the options are. Okay. All right, we'll move on to presentations and reports of administration, and for that we have reference B in our packets, and Mr. Butwell, if you'd like to come on up.
Oh,
Did I
we
miss
have
something?
Another our SRO has been hired. I don't want to make the announcement of who it is, but we will have 3 SROs. So in addition to Officer Pete and Officer Bob, we will have another SRO, and we are so excited because they are priceless to us.
And when will that happen? For the next
Beginning
school
end of the
year?
school year, yep.
Amazing.
Thanks. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I have a quick update on the budget and also a quick update on our lunch debt. So regarding the budget, we've now reached June. We continue our important work of closing out the fiscal year. Since my last report, there's really no major updates to share, but just a few key points. We're continuing to closely monitor our year-end financials and working across the district to close out outstanding purchase orders and unencumber any remaining funds where appropriate. We continue to address unanticipated special ed expenses and are also actively managing facilities and maintenance repair needs across all schools. We've completed another review of salaries and benefits to ensure adequate coverage for both long-term and daily substitutes through the end of the school year. And on a positive note, we received the second installment of our special education excess cost reimbursement from the state just today. And we are now just waiting for the supplemental amount, which was released by the state. And we're anticipating that arriving towards the end of the month. And in addition, we're still awaiting our choice reimbursement funds for special education services provided. However, overall, our financial outlook remains positive as we move through the final month of the fiscal year.
Sounds like good news. Any questions? Catherine?
Is it reflected in the budget, the funding that was received today and what we anticipate receiving, or no?
In the report,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It was put in as a projection, and now it's a reality.
Okay.
Which is great.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then just regarding the lunch debt that we've accrued this year. Was there a question? Oh.
Sorry, Lori did have a question.
I'm sorry. I
Was
can
it
go.
about lunch? Is it about, you want to hear him talk
Oh,
first?
you want to hear about
Okay.
the lunch debt? Okay. So as of today, our lunch debt is about, district-wide is about $25,500. Unfortunately, this unpaid meal debt is a growing issue not only here in Cromwell but across the state, with statewide balances nearing $1 million. I just wanted to note that we cannot limit student participation in events or withhold school documents due to negative lunch balances, and students will always be provided with a meal regardless of their debt level. Some of the things that we've done to work on this debt are automated email notifications sent weekly to families once the account is at negative $10. District outreach is conducted when balances reach negative $100. I personally contact and follow up with families, and building principals also make follow-up contact. In addition, support for free and reduced price meal applications is provided on an ongoing basis throughout the year, including offers of assistance to families in completing and submitting the forms. At this point, that $25,000 is about where we are. We do have a $5,000 donation that Dr. Macri announced earlier in the year, which we're going to use to help offset that cost. And last week we were able to apply to the state for a waiver, which we have received, which will allow us to pay for the debt out of our food service program and not out of our LEA budget.
Lori, do you have a question now? Comment? Frustration?
I have a question.
Yeah,
How many,
I'm right with you.
without naming names, how many people, how many delinquent accounts are there?
I would say probably like 150 or so.
You're wondering if it's mostly coming from a
I'm
few?
just curious, is it 20 people or is it?
No, it's a
more
very broad.
widespread?
It's a very broad range.
Broad range.
Yeah, some small and some large. Dr. Macri sent out a message last week urging families to review their lunch debt, and we have had a good response from that. So we have seen some money come back in.
That's good. Lori, did you have another question?
Is it district-wide, or are you seeing more in any particular school?
Definitely district-wide.
I felt last time there was a school that was at the high school that had more.
Probably more with the older students and
Because
probably
they
less
also, do
with
they
ECS.
get 2 lunches sometimes? Because, they eat more, so they're able to get more than 1 lunch. So does they get charged twice?
I don't think they can get 2 lunches,
No?
but I think
Oh,
they
okay.
can
You have to pay
they
for
can
one.
buy add-on
Oh.
portions to their meal.
Okay.
So an extra slice of pizza or extra, burger or something.
Mm-hmm. Matt, you look like you have a question.
It's not a question. It's just an observation. I just did the quick math, and if it's roughly 150 families, that's an average of $170 a family. Which, if you're one family, you're kind of like, okay, that's not like a huge deal. But when you consider the lump sum, it is a huge deal to this district. So I appreciate the efforts we're making to collect it. I just I wonder what other things can be done to encourage people to pay their balance. I mean, you get a balance of $100. $100 is $100. That's a good chunk of change for most folks. But even if like they were able to set up a payment plan or something.
I think that's been offered, hasn't it?
Yeah, certainly.
Mhm.
Families can pay off. If we notify them that they owe $300, they can certainly. Our wish is just to get it paid off by the end of the year, so they don't have to pay it all in one lump sum.
During the contract negotiations with the cafeteria workers and things, we were chatting pre-meeting, and it was that some people were unaware and made a recommendation that with DocuSign that when you initially at the beginning of the year you send these documents out and they acknowledge that portion that they're liable for the debt and things like that. So I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we're definitely looking for ways
progress.
to communicate to make sure that parents are aware of the account. Recently, when we went after some of the larger debts, we sent messages to the family, the sort of traditional school messenger e-blast, but then we accompanied it with a text and a voicemail. And we got the feedback that got a lot of attention, and that we had parents saying, oh, I didn't know, even though we had sent previous emails, but that voicemail left around dinner time seemed to do the trick.
They initial something that they're responsible for it when you have it legally.
We can't hold them.
Not that you hold them, but you have, hey, you signed.
They don't care.
Acknowledged.
Yeah.
Am I not? Yeah.
And this isn't unique to Cromwell, right? I'm sure this is happening because we can't hold them accountable because we're not allowed to, so.
Right. We really have nothing to hold them accountable with. Sandra Shaw, our food coordinator, she goes to the statewide meetings, and the concerns are all across the state. Same thing. She was able to share with me some of the many towns are in very similar, have very similar amounts to what we have at this point.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Did you have one, Lori?
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, so when they go to the CAF, are the students always aware that can they see their balance? Like when they swipe are they aware, especially at the high school level, like do they know that they owe $100 or does it show up?
I'm not sure about that. The person cashing them out can see the balance, but there really is a no shame policy. So
right.
You don't ever want to. Students are not necessarily in control of their account, so you never would want to put that burden on them. It's the parent's responsibility to pay for it. So to answer your question, I don't know if they are aware, but I don't think they can see it at the point of checkout because they're just putting their PIN number in.
So we have had parents in the past who have called and said, my student is getting breakfast. They're not supposed to be getting breakfast. If a child is coming up and asking for breakfast, then we have to give them breakfast. We ask the parents to work with us and talk to their children and say, you had breakfast at home, but at the end of the day, we would not say you can't have breakfast in front of their peers. We can't shame the kids for the adults' behavior. And that's the hard part. And I did get some emails from people saying, withhold this and withhold that and withhold everything. And I'm not doing that to a child. I didn't get into education to do that to a child.
Can we
Well-
email all the students their balance, whether it's positive or negative? Just go out to all the students, and then that way they're at least aware of it.
My concern with that is it's still not the student's responsibility, right? And I mean, I'll share my own personal experience. One of my kids, we give our kids breakfast at home every day, but one of my kids was actually eating breakfast at home, going to school, getting breakfast at school because my kid liked the school breakfast as well. And all of a sudden, the balance is lower than we thought, and we got a notification, hey, low balance. And my wife and I talked about it and said, what's going on? And looked at it and said, wait a minute, so-and-so's getting breakfast like 3 times a week. We feed them at home. I don't understand what this is. So it was our parental responsibility to sit down and have that conversation with our child of, okay, you're not going to get breakfast 3 times a week. We'll let you do it 1 time a week, but then you're not having breakfast at home. You're not having 2 breakfasts, in one day. It's not the school's responsibility to say to the kid, you can't have breakfast. Your parents said no. That's a parental responsibility.
I agree with that 100%.
Right.
But high schoolers can definitely know if they have a balance on their account or not. I mean, maybe not.
I agree with it in principle, but I guess my
Financial
concern
literacy.
is the financial piece of that. It really is the family's responsibility, the parents' responsibility to stay on top of that balance and pay it as they go. I do like that you got a better response from the phone messages. I'll tell you that I have completely failed as a parent because of not seeing emails or not checking my spam folder and missing things that came from the school. It's absolutely happened to me. As recently as this week, I actually wrote a response to one of my kids' teachers and forgot to hit send. It sat in my drafts for 4 days until I realized I never sent it. So I could see how email stuff can happen that way, but it's hard to ignore a phone message. So I'm glad to hear that the phone messaging worked, and I guess maybe we increase that.
Yes, next year we'll also have Parent Square as our communication platform, so we're looking forward to figuring out how to use that more effectively.
Your phone's going to go off every 5 seconds, and you don't have an option to opt out until you pay your bill.
Okay. Any other questions? Are we good? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Under new business, class of 2025 post-graduation plans, reference C in your packet. This is our annual update. And Mr. Kuckel, do you want to come up? And it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you'd like to share anything you've noticed, any thoughts?
Not really. We also, I think Lisa Hicks passed out as well a chart going back to the class of 2020. It'd be a colored one just so that way you could see over time, 4-year college, 2-year college, trade school. I think in the past you guys have asked about that because we always give you one snippet in time with this. So yeah.
I was thinking trade school increased a little bit, but I guess when you go back to 2023,
yeah,
not so much. So things
It's
seem to
yeah.
kind of just stay the same, right? Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
percentage, right?
Yeah, but we broke it down by percentage, so you can have percentage breakdown and sheer number of students as well. But the big thing here, I remember last year you asked, we had 34 students, I believe, last year got into the University of Connecticut, but 11 got branched to the Hartford branch, whereas this year we had 23 students. So we had a decrease in who got in, but all but 3 got into the stores branch. They got into stores versus not getting branch less. So we had fewer get in, but at the same time fewer. Yeah. But other than that, it's pretty standard to what we've had in years past, with our students and, everyone going a different direction.
A quick question, Mr. Kuckel.
Yeah.
Is this graduating class the first class that is not fully ranked? We don't do the ranking all the way through. We just do percentage-wise?
I believe,
Weren't they
no.
freshmen?
I think it is.
That
This
we put that in
is-
policy for?
this would be about I think the 3rd year that we presented it to you without rank, like unranked.
Oh, you presented the findings, but
Yes.
students knew their class ranking.
So correct, yeah. So this is the first class that would have
Okay.
cycled through and did not know their rank unless their family reached out to request it.
Where we don't put it on their transcript.
Correct.
When it goes
Correct.
out to colleges.
Yep. So we had students genuinely surprised at what their rank was because once The problem we had in the past is that they knew their rank freshman year, and that placed this crazy pressure on students to be like, oh my God, I'm 9, I'm 10, I'm whatever. So now they just kind of went through their high school experience, and then they got like that surprise at the end of like, oh wow, okay, didn't think I was that high. We actually had like, that was honest reactions, but it was nice, and we did not have a lot of families reach out for rank leading up to that. So it's been a nice cultural shift for us. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on the graduation plans? I just think it's interesting to see that there's so many ones, like students are individually going off to different places without even, a buddy to go with. That's just interesting to me, except for, obviously UConn and I think Central. So
Yeah,
they're
all
spreading,
over too.
spreading their wings.
Yeah, they are all over, moving south.
Mhm.
Quite a few, and yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and I appreciate the comparison year to year.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
And from here, we do have an action item, approval of new clubs, the marching band and color guard, reference D in your packet, which we talked about during budget season. And there was a schedule, I recall, of how we were phasing this in. Is someone coming up to explain it further, or?
Mr. Kuckel, do you mind coming up and talking about marching band and color guard just quickly? It's on the agenda we never submitted the paperwork. So.
Sure. What do you what do you want to know?
Any question? I can answer them too.
Yeah. This was you had approved this in the budget process, but we needed to go through, I believe, and officially submit. Correct?
Yes.
Would you like to go ahead? No, I'm good. I can speak to it. Yeah.
So we've been talking about it for so long. I'll just do it. We've been talking about it for so long, but this kind of happened a little bit differently because I wanted you to know that this was really well. I wanted Mr. Kuckel to be able to tell you about, but I probably know more about it because I am not going to lie. I've been a big proponent of it. So at this point, I'll go back to my seat and explain it to you.
Yeah, I got you. I can do it though if you want me to. It's your call. It's your call.
I'll do it because I know the most about it. But
Yeah. Well, because we presented on it like 2 months ago, I want to say.
Yeah. So
Right?
we presented 2 months ago. You heard the presentation about it. I've been trying to do this for quite a long time. I really do believe that we have students that are highly interested. So this is just policy. This is just your stamp of approval, which you already budgeted for, and I budgeted for. It's in there. They get half their stipend for next year, the first year, and then full stipend the following year, and that'll be included in the budget. And then as it grows, it'll grow with what we purchase for instruments or whatever they need. But you will always have the ability to say we have to hold off for a little bit and not grow anymore, or you may say we need to keep that in because we have so many participants. So that's what this is. It's a formal stamp of approval on your part.
This is in line with what was shared with us previously
Absolutely.
and in accordance with the schedule. Okay, Catherine,
and
your
it's in the
question?
budget already and
Yep.
everything.
The attachment that's on doesn't look like it's really filled out. It's
Yeah, it's a
blank.
little confusing.
So it's confusing to look at, and I'd rather see a completed attachment.
So, marching band is your proposal yes, group 1. Principal approval, because we didn't sign.
No, there's like blanks at the, it's not filled out. Fill in the date.
Color guard. Yours is blank? Oh, mine's not. I'm sorry. So you don't, let me see.
We don't have principal approval, we don't have.
So you have color guard.
And just group highlighted.
Yes,
Yeah, and just
the group 2
marching
highlighted.
band.
Yeah, that's where it falls in the classification with the contract. Okay, you have a different one than I have in my packet. I'm sorry. I could read it to you.
There's no attached proposal. Can you just bring it back at the next meeting for us
Do
to
you
look
need
at?
it? Do you need it approved tonight?
I mean,
We don't have another meeting though until another regular meeting until August.
Yeah, they're not
But
gonna.
you need to set up and
They do need to set up and start. We're going to have a
canceled it.
special meeting.
She sent an email about, she sent a
Yeah,
message out.
we can
So
add it to that. Sure.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so go ahead.
Sorry.
But usually what happens is you approve it, and then we'll get the EAC So you have to approve it before I approve it.
There's a requested by the facilitator at the bottom for the name and date.
Right, that's in there, but I thought that the principal and everybody else had to sign off on it before we approved it.
You approve it?
Here, do you want us to do it?
I approve.
Because then there's a section approval
All of us are
piece.
here.
Okay.
We had to because they did hand this in a couple of years ago, and we had to
Nope.
make them do it again.
Like the new club
Yeah.
activity proposal to create, the date is off.
At the
For
very
color
top.
guard,
What do you mean?
May 20th. Like what is, like, it looks like it looks like they didn't fill in the date.
They used the
inform-
template, and they didn't fill it.
That was probably when we first.
No, honestly, I think they filled this out a couple of years ago when we. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
November,
been
but no
going on
other,
for-
no year, no nothing.
The
Yeah,
second
but
one
they're
is
supposed
May.
to have all that filled.
I know, but I'm saying it says May. I don't know why that one says May.
Yeah, one says November, one says May.
I know, I printed this today off our agenda.
You did? I just pulled it up.
Oh, two say November and one says May.
Either way, it's not filled out. If it says May,
You're
Yeah.
in reference D, and yours has April.
No,
no, on the back. It says November on the front and May
Oh.
on the back.
Oh yeah, mine too. The online one does
Yeah.
too.
Mr. Kunkel said it's not the end of the world if we have to wait until August, so.
I
Well,
guess
we can
can't
do it at the
order-
next
We could
special.
do
We
it-
do have to
or
have a
we have a
special
special
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah,
We can
so
add
we
it
can
to
add
that
it to
if
that.
you guys really want to wait.
So truly, in a situation like this, because it really isn't self-explanatory, and we can add it to here, but do you want us to sign? You have
I
the
thought
final
that-
say.
I thought that's what happens is all of
For
you
field
approve
trips,
it and
yes.
then we sign it to approve it after everyone else has approved it.
I mean, we already
Yes.
didn't we already approve it at that meeting though?
No,
When-
we
approved the
said we
budget
would, we
for
said
it.
we would add it into
We
the
budgeted
budget,
for it.
which is fine, but I thought we have to go through all.
Can you look at those minutes?
And
when they
I
did their
also thought
presentation?
that, like, you had to complete the
the
year
budget
it's gonna
approval.
start and everything else. Like, I thought that all the
That's
document-
okay. And this is Russ.
I'm
We will go back and do it the correct way.
Listen, I'm crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's
doesn't matter.
tonight. I was like, this is
Listen,
not
we've
looking
been
right.
a little busy lately. Yes, I will do it and bring it back to you next time.
All right, so no action taken on that. Is that correct, Lisa? Lisa, I can just say no action taken on
Mr.
B.
Kunkel, would you accept this as homework completed?
All right, we'll go on to action item C, approval of the minutes and motions from our May 13th special meeting. Reference E is our motion to approve those minutes. Matt, is there a second? Someone who was there? Kelly, Cloutier, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Lori and Catherine. Right, the minutes are approved. Now we'll move on to approval of the minutes and motions from the regular meeting. Reference F. Matt's approving them, Alan's seconding, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, same two?
Yep.
Okay, so Lori and Catherine will abstain. Wait a second. We had two special meetings? Oh, we canceled it. We canceled that one, remember? Is that the one that we canceled because I couldn't come and you couldn't come?
No, she's saying on May 13th, there was one before, there was two.
Oh.
Yeah. Nope, one was an executive session, no one.
That's right.
Special policy committee.
Yeah,
The special policy committee
Was before.
was before.
No, first one was the assistant superintendent.
Yeah.
Then we had a regular meeting, and then we had a special meeting.
It was a contract, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, so that's why Mark said, one's together.
Don't mess with Lisa Hicks.
So then would you like to approve the minutes? Thank you. Second, Matt, all in favor, opposed, abstentions, same two abstentions.
And just to confirm, Lisa, that these will be updated on the website? Okay. Thank you. To remove Lori and I.
Okay, stipend approval, reference H. I'm just gonna open it.
I had a question on the stipend approval.
Sure.
I didn't.
Oh, is she here?
Michelle.
Mrs. Tomorrow, are you here?
Can you
Can
come
you
up?
come up for the stipend approval?
Come on down.
To the prizes.
Are you messing with me? Oh, thanks a lot. Good thing you're sitting on that side.
Who had the question?
I
Alicia.
did. I just wanted you to remind me what if the role of a facilitator, and then when we looked at color guard and marching band, I didn't see them on this list, so that also was something I flagged.
Color guard and marching band will not be on that list because it has to get approved first. Once
Oh.
it gets approved, then we have to enter into an MOA,
Got it.
memorandum of understanding with the union, before I can even post it. So
Got it.
it can't get posted until, because right now it's not in the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
So in regards to facilitators, that's already in their contract.
I just don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah. So it's a position that actually, and I'm gonna have Carrie come up to explain it, because they actually kind of fall under her department.
Oh.
But you'll see there's math facilitators, there's reading facilitators, there's special ed facilitators, and there could be in departments, but I'm gonna let Carrie explain it further.
It's really what I think a lot of districts call a department head.
Okay.
Like a leader
That's what I
of
thought.
the department.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Cromwell got fancy.
We gotta be fancy about it.
So-
Confuse us.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. You just mentioned that once the band and everything, the marching band and all that gets added in, there's an MOU. So is our putting off what we just put off? Is that actually going to throw you off?
Yeah, it just won't get posted right now, but once it gets approved, then I can post the position.
But we didn't do our homework correctly, so we deserve to be punished.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
We will get it done.
Fair is
We will
fair.
get it done.
I just
And-
didn't like. So there's more actually getting affected here than what I thought. That's
Yes,
all.
it'll be our MOA. We have to hold off on our MOA because we have to have this added. We'll have it ready to go so that when we have that meeting, it'll be signed the following day. Your superintendent should have looked at this packet a little bit more closely.
No, we're gonna do it at the special meeting, Lori.
Yeah, special meeting. No, I'll get it done.
Any other questions?
No, but do you need a motion to approve this now that I understand
If
what
there are
it
no
is?
other questions, yes. Would you like to make it?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Oh.
Now that I know what a department head is.
I heard Catherine. I'll get you next time, Alan. All right. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The stipends are approved. All right, and move on to the informational principal reports. Any questions on those? Nothing? All right, and then we have some policies on for a second read. I'm sorry? Oh, thank you. Good catch. Sorry. We did. Okay. Sorry about that. Informational item G, human resources personnel activity reference I. Any questions on that? And Dr. Macri just reminded me we did recognize the retirement at our last meeting. Any questions? Are we still looking or are we good? Okay. All right, now we're on to policies, second read. And items A through D, we, not repealed, what's the word? We set it aside? Deferred. We deferred item E, no action taken, correct. Okay, so items A through D, any questions on those policies? And those are on for second read. Would anyone like to approve A through D? Alan, here's your chance. Made by Alan, second. Catherine, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, A through D are all approved. We have none on for first read. Committee reports, policy committee, we have a report attached. Any questions on that or anything policy committee wants to update us with? You weren't at it and we kind of already talked about that, so I think we're okay, right? Facilities and technology committee, none. All right, topics for future agendas, possible action to approve additional topics, anything? Any comments from anyone? Any requests? All right, and then we'll just go around with comments, updates, and announcements from board members and administrators. We'll start with you, Matt. Do you have anything you want to comment on?
Just that I got to attend earlier tonight. I missed the first half hour of the meeting, so I got to attend the performance in the auditorium. It was fantastic. Kids did a great job.
I hope we
And
get to see snippets of it on social media.
The students who did the solos, I mean, crushed it. There was just notes that they hit that I was like, holy cow, that was amazing. They did a fantastic job.
Nice. And thank you for sacrificing and leaving a little early to be with us. Alan? Lori? Dr. Macri, anything? I just want to congratulate the graduates of 2025 and wish them the best on their last week with Cromwell Public Schools. And thank you all for all of your support in everything we've been going through, and Dr. Macri and everyone that's been working with us. Catherine, anything? Kelly?
I just want to say that, just like the mayor had said, that I got to attend the 7th grade speeches showcase today, and they were amazing. They picked up great topics. They talked about ocean pollution, sexual assault, the death penalty, electric cars, gun control, and child abuse, so they could talk about like the global topics to make the United Nations aware of. So yeah, they did really well.
Wow, thank you so much for attending for us.
Yeah, it was great.
That's impressive. Alicia, anything? Steve? Nothing? Alan? 6 o'clock usually, right?
Graduation starts at.
I'm sorry, Andrew, Mr. Kuckle. So we meet at 5
We meet at 6 or it
5:30?
starts Oh,
Around 5-ish? Yeah, so you
Okay.
get parking and.
all right. If there's nothing else, then I will adjourn